This is the power plant by my house. It is in flames.
Yeah, welcome back with another banger. Yeah. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Back with another banger. Hit that like, sub it up, don't react, bounce. Y'all feel me? Let's run it.
How about this? Star Trek real.
Star Trek original. It's not always science fiction, but one day the science fiction turns to science fact. And we have spaceships going through space, big spaceships, with people going to other planets, going to the moon, and ultimately going beyond our star system to other star systems, where we may meet aliens, or discover long-dead alien civilizations. I don't know, but we want to go.
We're excited to announce the next frontier AI model company to join GenAI.mil, and that is Grok from XAI, which will go live later this month. So I want to thank you, Elon, and your incredible team for leaning forward with us on this as well. Very soon we will have the world's leading AI models on every unclassified and classified network throughout our department. Long overdue. To further that, today at my direction, we're executing an AI acceleration strategy that will extend our lead in military AI established during President Trump's first term. This strategy will unleash experimentation, eliminate bureaucratic barriers, focus on investments, and demonstrate the execution approach needed to ensure we lead in military AI and that it grows more dominant into the future.
This is scary as F. James O'Keefe just uncovered that there may be some serious snakes in the Secret Service. You've got to see this.
Current Secret Service agent on Vice President J.D. Vance's security detail.
When he's like walking, like, where are you?
We'll have a leash minimum heading.
Gives away vital high-level security information to our undercover journalists.
We have different shifts.
Tells her about detailed future travel plans for the vice president, and even sends her pictures with location metadata revealing where the president's convoy was located, potentially violating both the Secret Service NDA and United States federal law. Tomas Escato also reveals that he voted for Biden and that he hates Trump and Vance's immigration policies. We've seen reports last week that someone attempted to break into Vice President J.D. Vance's home in Ohio. That incident prompted us to take a closer look. What we found in our investigation was an agent inside the vice president's detail who is actually revealing to a total stranger that the vice president will be visiting his home in Ohio days ahead of time. And
so personally, I have to say that I have questioned the Secret Service since what happened to Trump. We know what happened to Trump. And I'm just wondering how many more of these people are in their vicinity on a daily basis. Because we've seen what the other side is capable of, and this is not okay. They really need to clean house and make sure who they are hiring. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is absolutely wild.
That is wild indeed. Shout outs to Claire Patriot. The fact that he's caught on video and his screenshot, that's a scary thought. It's like a movie, yo. They've been compromised. That was to a total stranger on a date. Ain't no, well, she was obviously undercover. Now we know, she's a journalist or whatnot. But still, what if she was some other nefarious organization, hypothetically? Wow.
Hey fam, I was in Minneapolis and look, we just stumbled upon Greg Bovino at a fucking Speedway for a pre-Hague photo shoot. So, good for him, I guess. For those following along at home, I have nothing against short men, but I do just have to report back there is about a 4-inch height difference. Do you want to get closer so they can see?
Oh no, a little higher than way.
Still not the same. So Greg, you're standing right there in front of me, but to everyone following along at home, I hope you fucking eat shit. I hope this keeps you up at night for the rest of your life, and no one fucking wants you here. Oh, fantastic language. There's children in here, and your fucking vehicle, assholes? Choke.
You know how we've all been suspicious about this whole Erica Kirk Romanian child trafficking scandal? Wondering if she's really a part of it, was it real, or is this just some made-up rumor? After after tonight's episode of Candace, I'm leaning towards it's probably real. Towards the end of Candace's episode today, she talks about this abuse lawsuit that piles up against Greg Laurie and Harvest Christian Fellowship. This is the same fellowship that Erica Kirk plans to speak at in the upcoming weeks, which is posted on Turning Point USA's website. This right here is Paul Havsgaard, who was a pastor at this fellowship. Trigger warning, but there are 12 lawsuits against Paul alleging child abuse in a home in Romania. The most recent complaints filed in November, and it turns out that 23 residents are expected to bring a complaint about all of this. We've already talked about Erica Kirk's pageant days and the fact that she was tied into this orphanage in Romania that was run and owned by a man who was accused of sex trafficking. Now, if it doesn't get any weirder, meet Paul E. Valley. He is a part of the Turning Point Faith Unit. He's also connected to Michael Aquino, who has a very fishy background, a known Satanist, and was trained at Fort Huachuca, the hub for all intel operations where a lot of scandals have happened, and of course where Mitch Snow saw Brian Harpool and Erica Kirk. And then something in Candace's timeline that I thought was very interesting. While Charlie Kirk was still alive between June 14th and June 21st, Israeli lobbyists are trying to force the United States into a broader war. Charlie Kirk stands up against them in the White House. Candace went on to show a video of Charlie Kirk's stance on all of this. Then on June 19th, Erica Kirk purges her Instagram, deletes 126 posts. And then following all of that is the back and forth between Iran and Israel. To surmise, Candace Owens feels that Turning Point Faith is very sketchy. There's all of these military connections and then people connected to child trafficking. It can't be a coincidence after we've heard our umpteenth child trafficking story somehow connected to TPUSA Faith.
Well, guys, look like we're ahead of the curve. Shouts to Shannon Hill News. You need to check out that Oprah interview. If y'all haven't seen it, go check out that episode. Shout outs to Candace putting it on blast, for sure.
Is Iran next? The country's 92 million people are heading into their 6th day of an internet blackout. Their currency has collapsed to zero against the dollar. International calls and even electricity has been shut down in certain areas. Protests have spread to over 100 cities and all 31 provinces in the country. But as the crowds grow, so too does the loss of life. Footage, which we can't show on here, shows body bags lining the streets outside morgues in Tehran. At the low end, estimates say 650 have been killed so far. At the high end, some estimates are into the thousands. But this seems to have only angered people more because in a stunning show of dissent at a funeral for those killed, where usually the ceremony would include chants of "There is no God but Allah," instead they were replaced with chants "Death to Khamenei," the country's supreme leader. So, is Iran next? Well, yesterday, the regime responded with an emphatic no. They decided to fight back and organize huge pro-government rallies attempting to show the world they still have support. And keep in mind, the current regime has been in power for over 3 decades, and they have faced even bigger protests in the past, but every single time they have weathered the storm. But one could argue the main difference now is they've never faced the Great Orange Storm. Trump has threatened military strikes. He's announced 25% tariffs on any country doing business with Iran. And he did just snatch a country's leader out of his bed in the middle of the night. So we are in unprecedented times. But Iran is very different. They've literally said they are prepared for war if that's what it comes to, and the US intervenes. But it's also not just the US. Protests have erupted in countries around the world in solidarity with the people of Iran. And so for now, the world watches and waits to see.
It's a very interesting question right there. Shout out to Dylan Page. I'm sure he's wondering how this post is still up. These leaders are getting snatched up like infinity stones.
Water has the amazing ability to always find and seek level, regardless of the container that you put it in. It does not matter what kind of insane shape you come up with. If you put water in that container, that one singular body of water will always find and seek level within itself. The surface of the water will always seek and find level. The surface of the water will not curve, okay? It's impossible for water to curve around a ball that's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour and then zipping through the galaxy at incomprehensible speeds. That doesn't make any sense. All you have to do is understand that since water needs a container, and the only place that we can't go to on Earth is Antarctica, with an average elevation of over 8,000 feet above sea level, then wouldn't Antarctica be that container? But Antarctica is an oxymoron. And this is why the flag is the continent. The only flag ever made that is the picture of the shape of the place. Because they're trying to drill it into your head that it's a continent. But remember, it's an oxymoron. Antarctica is actually the Arctic Circle. This is why the United Nations literally uses a flat Earth map. I didn't see Antarctica on there. I saw the ice wall, the Arctic Circle. There's no possible way that water could be on a ball, curved around a ball. A giant spinning potato in outer space. But of course, this video was for entertainment purposes only.
I think it's amazing that water can level itself out like that. Like the beginning of the video, shout outs to Holistic Health Nut 33, making a lot of good points right there.
Have you seen this video going viral of supposedly a white dragon in a government facility over in China? People are debating if this is AI or not. But is it possible that AI has been introduced to us, so when dragons and other creatures start appearing, we don't know what's real and what's not? But here's what is real. China has a zodiac calendar that has 11 real animals and only one mythical animal, the dragon. Why have one mythical? Also, in my 1727 Latin dictionary, there are words for dragon, a female dragon, a little dragon, a young dragon, and a sea dragon. Why have these precise terms for an animal that never existed? Maybe because they did and are depicted in all kinds of art across many different cultures, but when the secret societies that run the world can successfully rewrite history, then maybe one day they can convince you that your eyes are lying. But I don't know. Let me know what you think.
It's hard to tell. I wish the video was longer, maybe capture it in flight, hovering, you know. I can't see its claws, anything, but the background looks real. It's just very hard to tell. And I do know about the Chinese zodiac as well. Shout outs to Gubba Homestead.
7 reasons why Yankee Stadium was impossible to build in this timeline. 284 days. Yes, it only took 284 days for the monumental Yankee Stadium to be built, and I think it was impossible. Construction started May 5th, 1922, and it ended April 18th, 1923. So that's 9.5 months. Number one, there were no modern cranes, there were no hydraulic lifts, and there were no concrete pumps. It was all manpower. 45,000 seats. The concrete and the steel alone would have took years to complete in 1922. Put it in perspective, that's 60,000 tons of concrete that was just moved by wheelbarrow. Period. Number two, let's talk transportation. It was train and horses, and that's it. Let's not forget this was in the Bronx, and half of the streets weren't even paved. Majority of the steel came from Pennsylvania, so let's keep that in perspective. 284 days. Number three, concrete. Concrete takes 28 days to cure. 28 days, and there were tens of thousands of cubic yards of concrete. That math ain't mapping. Number four, steel fabrication. There were 20,000 tons of constructional steel needed to do the Yankee Stadium. And all that steel needed rivets, and guess what? There is no rivet gun, there is no machinery, it is all hammer and fire. Number five, no floodlights, and that seems silly, but it's not, because you cannot have 24/7 crews when you don't have lighting. There were no floodlights in 1922, so it went from dawn to dusk, and that was it. Stop. Worked over. Go home. Number six, New York weather. 284 days, meaning that you're going to run into New York winter. Winter in 1922 to 1923 hit below 32 degrees. You can't work in there because they didn't have a heating system there. They barely had hot water and tents. It's impossible. And number seven, it was just humans. It was just blueprints. There was no emails. There was no copying machine. That means people had to hand blueprints from hand to hand. So do you think in 284 days, without no hiccups, without no delays, three-tiered stadium ever to be built in New York City, half paved in the Bronx? Nah, I don't, something ain't adding. Let me know. Am I tripping? Let me know.
He ain't tripping at all. No wonder they wanted to tear it down. Shout outs to Timelines 57, breaking it down, 7 reasons why, and I'm digging it for sure. Yeah, I miss the old Yankee Stadium. It was incredible. Go there and be in the nosebleeds. I mean, it was massive. For a kid, it was scary to be up there. Between the blueprints and not having no light at night, that sways the argument for me.
Do you want to see a CIA document about the supernatural human perception abilities and how magic is real? Okay, so these are the Soviet studies of the human ability of super perception from 1990. They're in the declassified CIA documents along with everything else. They investigated them. They call them somatic paranormal abilities, meaning it's connected to your body. And they also talked about the aspects of Qigong or Qigong, which I talk about all the time. Basically, just so y'all know, connecting to your body, that's how you connect to your magic. Your energy field. Get out of your head, get into your body. Get out of your logic, get into your soul. It is your creative magic. It is your sexual energy. They talk about someone who could feel a biological field with their hands and heal people. This guy could even diagnose stuff that he thought people had by their energy field. And if he didn't completely heal them, he reduced the symptoms. So this reporter went to study this magic man and the patients he cured. It also said for a long time they began serious study of what just exactly the physical field surrounding human bodies were. It's bioplasma. It is a biofield. This is what I say. It is a fourth dimensional plasma field that holds our thoughts and emotions. Obviously, consciousness is non-local. They've known this since like the 50s. And when they tried to study this field, they came up against two problems. The laboratory traditionally concentrated on biological and medical topics. So they needed to study the mutual effects of radio waves, primarily super high frequency and biological factors. This was different than what they normally study. But basically, they threw all this out and started using what they called thermoscopy, which was testing the studying of the skin and blood circulation and the mechanism of heat and the changes in heat in the skin. And anyone who's done energy work knows that your skin and body heats up, or sometimes it actually gets colder when you do this work. So as far as this Danica! Sorry, my dog. As far as this mysterious biological field they studied, they determined when a super sensitive individual is concentrating on their thoughts, they can cause their field to intensify sixfold. They brought up Mesmer, who had to do with the vital fluid, this magnetic fluid, surrounded the body and was in everything. They're talking, guys, about plasma. If you look up other CIA documents, they literally talk about in Russia bioplasma as this field. Plasma holds memory. It is also the vehicle for consciousness. I have a whole book about this. We could talk about this another time. But basically, by learning about this plasma field, you learn about your magic and superhuman perceptual abilities. They talk about us having these magnetic fields. Guys, we're basically like a human star or like the Earth. Of course, we have our own ionosphere or magnetic magnetosphere. And guess what that is with the Earth? It's made of plasma. This was interesting. They said some people believe that images and thoughts can be transmitted long distances. That is not the case. Actually, the only thing that can be transmitted is the biological field transmitted by the patient's subconscious while the super sensitive is working. Learn more about your subconscious? Become telepathic. Plasma is at the center. All of this.
According to CIA reports. That's pretty astonishing right there. It's funny, my favorite mutant is Magneto. But it's very interesting to see the CIA talk about it. Shout outs to Dana Kipple.
You heard that right. The Vice President of the United States of America is proudly asserting that unidentified, masked, federal government agents, law enforcement officers, are going to be going door to door and kicking the doors in, looking for enemies of the state.
I think we're going to see those deportation numbers ramp up as we get more and more people online, working for ICE, going door to door and making sure that if you're an illegal alien, you've got to get out of this country, and if you want to come back, apply through the proper channel.
Tell me more about that fucking Gadsden flag. Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, soft-launched a new motto for her department. One of ours, all of yours. It's not bad. It's kind of catchy. Too bad it has its roots in a little Czech village known as Lidice, circa 1942, where an SS officer named Kurt Doengal, or however the fuck that's supposed to be pronounced, ordered the entire village put to the sword. All 173 men were shot. The 205 women who lived there were sent to concentration camps. And of the 105 children that lived in Lidice, only 9 were considered racially pure enough to be rehomed. Kurt ordered that village put to the sword as retaliation for the assassination of his predecessor. Fun fact, we know so much about Lidice and what happened there because the Nazis themselves publicized the massacre. They used it for propaganda because they needed to distract their populace from all of the other atrocities that they were committing throughout Germany and the rest of Europe. That's pretty interesting. Safety PSA. Coil springs are fucking hand grenades. Treat them as such. Upper control arm does not see any spring pressure. It goes into your subframe. Your lower control arm does. So to get that thing out without losing all your teeth, you're going to roll your hydraulic jack under the lower control arm. You're going to leave your shock in place. That way when you bust that upper ball joint, you can get this control arm out of the way, then unbolt that and lower this thing slowly. That coil spring will fall out of there with no drama, no problem, and no risk to your fucking dental work. Anyway, enough nerd shit. Have you been seeing what actual government agencies have been posting on Twitter? Those words are lyrics to a really famous white supremacist anthem. Just so we all fucking understand what's happening here. Now, I'm not saying they're Nazis. I just find it really interesting that they can't help but keep saying Nazi shit and using Nazi propaganda. Do we get it yet? And look, we know they don't dress well enough to all be Nazis. I'm just saying that if you can't recognize this as real deal fascism, you're either really fucking stupid or you're an outright fascist yourself. Odds are good you're batting a double, okay? Be better than these fucking clowns and do it loudly.
Definitely want to keep your dental work intact. Shout outs to some idiot with a wrench. That's a great dissection of what's been going on. I understand the law enforcement aspect to all of this, but the tonality of it all is just so dark.
There are two major miscalculations happening right now in the United States, and they've got huge consequences. Professor Poutine here, time for Mysteries Histories. The first is obviously Donald Trump's assertion that he can take Greenland because he needs it for national security. And he's obviously being advised by all the wrong people who are telling him, yeah, just go ahead and do it. What's anybody going to do? They can't stop us. This reminds me a lot of Hitler in 1939 being advised by Joachim von Ribbentrop, his foreign minister, that if the British and the French didn't do anything in 1935 when they invaded the Ruhr in violation of the Treaty of Versailles, and they didn't do anything in 1938 when he took the Sudetenland, or in 1938 when they annexed Austria, or in 1939 when they took the rest of Czechoslovakia, they're not going to go to war over a little strip of land in Poland. And so, September the 1st, 1939, Hitler launched World War II, which ultimately cost 50 million lives. And what was his response when he found out that this had actually caused a major war? We know from Albert Speer, who wrote about this in Inside the Third Reich, that Hitler was at the Berghof, his mountaintop retreat in Berchtesgaden. And when the news came over the wireless that the British and the French had actually declared war, according to Speer, Hitler went bone white, just face drained of all color. And he turned around in his wing chair and stared directly at Ribbentrop, who was shaking visibly. And Hitler, in a quavering voice, said, "Now what do we do?" And that's what's going to happen at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue if Trump decides to go ahead with his plans. A bigger miscalculation, though, I think, is what Pete Hegseth is saying. His whole argument is that this is the biggest, most powerful, most fierce military in the world. Nobody's going to dare try and take us on. Look how big and how powerful we are. Here's the whole thing, Pete. The NATO countries don't have to pull a trigger to destroy the United States military. All they have to do is hit a few keystrokes on a computer and dump nearly $1.5 trillion in U.S. Treasury bonds. The United States is over $38 trillion in debt. The only thing keeping the United States afloat is the fact that NATO and China and Canada holds U.S. Treasury bonds. So if the United States wants to invade Greenland, just dump the Treasury bonds. And what would happen? Gas prices would skyrocket. The American dollar would tank faster than a falling stone. And the United States would enter a depression that would make the Great Depression look like you went into overdraft protection on your checking account. You may have the largest military in the world, but if they can't afford to put food on their table for their kids and you aren't paying them, do you really think they're going to go fight your war of imperialism and possibly bleed and die without a paycheck? Would you? Consider yourself updated.
Yeah, that was a huge update right there. That would be a disturbing scenario for real. Shout outs to Trevor's history reels, the treasury bonds. That's wild. I'm happy he's able to pronounce them names from that history lesson he just gave. I remember being in school, learning about World War II. To live in this day and age, it looks ominously similar.
Are y'all freaking seeing this? This is at some lady's hospital. What is this? Let me preface this video by saying that the only reason you see the AI label is because the original video had AI audio speaking for her because she didn't want to talk. It is a very real video, and again, it's outside of a hospital. I'm about to tell you some really unrelated stuff here in 1 second. Tell me, what could this be for? Because I remember this happening a few years ago. Do you remember that? Pretty odd, right? Now, I'm definitely not saying this is related at all. There's something going on this year with what they're saying is the flu, where children, as I'm showing you on the screen, even teenagers are passing away, again, over a flu. Quick question for you. Is it a flu? Or this is not like any kind of advice, or is it the human's immune system? Which one is more plausible? In the comments, people are saying that they're just going to believe this is years ago to save themselves from any kind of emotional trauma. Now also, the girl that recorded this said she asked them why they did it, and their reasoning was not sufficient. I'll update you guys as I hear more, and possibly if there's more health facilities doing the same thing. Because we do know certain people are just not honest with this.
I'm sure they don't want to alert the public. It looks crazy, to be honest, for sure. Once again, it look like something out of a movie. Like, shout outs to the real Moon Henry. I wonder what city this is in. If you've seen this in your city, comment down below.
Oh, I got they ass now. This is the Piccadilly station in London. I mean, take a look at it. Looks very Tartarian to me, don't you think? Look at the stonework. Just look at that. Look at the dome on top with the antennas and so forth. Look at the round. That's a Tartarian motif when you see those round windows all the way at the top of these buildings over here. Tartarian, without a doubt. This is the Piccadilly station in London. Now I just want y'all to take a whole look at this, because all of this is connected to the subway station, which we're about to take a little tour of, because of course they said they built that. And y'all know if I'm on top of this, that means they ain't build the shit. They want us to believe they built this. And they did so in 4 years. The Piccadilly line opened on December 15, 1906. Construction began of the deep level tube line. It began around 1902. They started around there. And then by 1906, they were done. So let's just say about 3-4 years, and they were done with this intricate map. Are you fucking kidding me? You gotta be kidding me. Cause ain't no goddamn way in no 1902 in London, y'all were underneath the ground, organized. Look at the intersections. Look at this stuff. This is underground. Look at how intricate this design is. Y'all did not build this, man. You NPCs are out of control. Take a look at this subway system. Just take a look at that. Look, Piccadilly says it right there. Look at this. Look, let's come over here and look at this. Look at this tube system they got going on. Are you kidding me? Oh, yeah. In the 1900s, I was like, yeah, we're just going to start boring holes like we're rats in a maze underneath and, start making all these different tracks to intersect and run underneath each other. And it's going to be so organized because we're so, advanced. That by the time we're done, it's going to look like this. And, oh, boy, wait till I cap this off because they fucked up. I got a smoking gun up my sleeve that I'm going to fire at them. Wow. What great ingenuity in 1902. Wow, this looks absolutely amazing. It's so funny that 1902 to 1906, y'all are making your subway, and it's like, wow, this is so new, we're doing it. And then in New York, in 1900, 1901 to 1904, in exactly 4 years, they also completed their subway. So New York City was completed in 4 years and London was completed in 4 years, and both of them were completed at the same exact time within the same exact 5-year time span? Are you fucking kidding me? But y'all didn't plan for Damian Michaels. You fucked up. Let's go take a peek real quick. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, y'all built this in 1902. Yeah, right.
in 1902. Look at the work. Look at the brickwork. Look at all the ceramic tiles all over the place. Look at this. Look at the extremely exquisite, intricate design. Look at the wall. Look at how that vaults out right there. Look at that. You kidding me? 1902? Stop playing with me. But of course y'all built this. I mean, who am I to doubt y'all, man? Who am I to doubt y'all? Y'all was so innovative back in 1902. May I please cook for a moment? So they told you they started building this place, this intricate design, in 1902. Look what's going on. Horse manure crisis. 50,000 horses daily, thousands of tons of manure. Look at this. London, rough 50,000 horses, transport. Look, health issues, accumulating waste, spreading typhoid, accumulating waste, just piles and piles of shit everywhere, all over the place. But don't you guys worry about that. They can't figure that out, but they can figure out how to make this. Let me continue. Just take a look here. Streets of blood, look, poisoning the people. Look, New York had its own problem. 100,000 horses. Remember, I just told you they said they built their subway at the same time. Problem came to a head when 1894, look, London will be buried under 9 feet of manure. Y'all can't be focused on building the most intricate subway system the world's ever known while you can't even manage horse shit. Then this is the kicker right here, right? This became known as the Great Horse Manure Crisis, 1898. Look when it was debated, 1898. When did they tell you they started this? 1902. Them horses are still out there. They're still shitting. You know how I know? Let's read. In 1988, at the world's first International Urban Planning Conference in New York, look, they tried to figure out a solution, but no solution could be found. It seemed urban civilization was doomed. So how the fuck did y'all build this when you couldn't even manage horse shit? Piccadilly line. Let's look at these construction photos. Yep, look at these guys. Engineers, look at all that hardcore equipment they got to make this perfect sphere here with these things going in it. And yeah, it doesn't look like they're digging anything out. Oh, it looks like they're building that. Give me a fucking break. Y'all building this that has perfect, like, laser sight 360 symmetry going all the way down. These niggas, get the fuck out of here. London, you're a joke, man. Change your history books. Y'all ain't build no Piccadilly line. This is Tartarian. You dug it out. I'm gonna keep cooking you though. Here y'all are again, London. Here y'all are again, NPCs, just faking your ways into history. Look. Just rubble. What are y'all doing? Ain't nothing to build. All y'all do is dig shit out and find it. When I present these things here, I want to present them in a common sense manner, okay? They told you they started building this in 1902, right? You see how intricate the design is. You see what sits above it. You had to build these in tandem. They couldn't figure out what to do with the horse shit, with all the horses. They were carrying horses in carriages around all the time, and they couldn't figure out what to do with the horse shit. But they were able to build an intricate rail station. Now that I proved to y'all there ain't no way in hell any of these goddamn NPCs in London or New York City built any of these subways. They're all Tartarian. They just found them. Here's the kicker. This is where they fucked up. Pay attention. On this day in 1863, London's Metropolitan Railway opened, launching the world's first subway. Smoky steam trains beneath the streets, shock Victorian sensibilities and inspired rapid transport. These lying-ass fucking NPCs, look at this bullshit they're on. What kind of trains go through here? Exactly. Why are you on some wooden kind of tycoy shit? And bro, that ain't the fucking kicker. Look at this shit right here. This is the New York City opening in 1904. Remember, I just told you these motherfucking NPCs tried to lie and say they both fucking built their subways at the same time. While they were both having a motherfucking horse manure crisis. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, did y'all not realize that these motherfuckers used the same exact Photoshop station? Look. Oh, y'all don't see it? Watch me look. That's their 1863 London opening. Look at the wall. Look at the wall. Look right here. Watch. New York City opening. Same guys. Same hats. Same occult. Lying bastards. I caught you bitches. I got you bitches. I got they ass now. Look at that fucking wall. Got them. You dumb motherfuckers. Look. Photoshop. Y'all use the same goddamn subway for London and for New York. It's right there. I ain't take the picture. They did. Take a look. Ooh. Ooh. London, you're cooked. Bunch of actors. Same subway station. But when the mind's blind, the eyes can't see. Piccadilly Station is Tartarian. We will be confiscating that. Enjoy your day, London.
He got him this time. Shout out to Damian Michaels, Piper Miller 31. Very interesting. It's crazy how they both say it was built in 4 years, especially in London with the buildings on top that look Tartarian. That tube is pretty intricate, for sure. For them not to be able to handle horse manure, very interesting.
Open it! Last warning!
Do you have an ID on you, ma'am?
I don't need an ID to walk around in my city. This is my
Okay,
city.
do you have
This is
some
my
ID
home.
then, please?
I don't need an
If
ID.
not, we're going to put you in the vehicle and we're going to ID you.
Hey man, it's
I am U.S. citizen. I am U.S. citizen.
All right, can we see an ID, please?
I am U.S. citizen.
Whoa! Shooting serious munitions at us. Whoa! Yep, I'm right behind you. That really just came out of the blue. No one was really doing anything here. This thing. Shout.
You pussy! Suck my...
There is some serious tear gas already in the air. You see, are they arresting someone there? Yeah, we got somebody, at least one person down on the ground.
You pig! No one likes you! No one is proud of you!
All of the federal officers are wearing gas masks, prepared for, I guess, more tear gas and pepper pellets. They have the guns in their hands. What is this like for you, man?
I just can't believe it. It's scared. It's frightening. It's terrorizing. We were just standing here. We were just standing here talking. I mean, we were just standing here peacefully protesting.
Yeah. Nothing, I mean, no one was going near, crossing the street.
No,
like yeah.
We were standing on the sidewalk. Everybody was. Everybody. Get the fuck back!
If you, are you a veteran, ma'am?
Yes.
Are you okay?
I had those flashbangs really hard.
But my ears are still ringing.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
That they were going to do that for no reason.
This is in America.
It is in America, I know. This is in America. I served for 20 years. In the U.S. Navy.
There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things, especially on the low intensity, long duration hits.
Are either of you aware of any individuals who have AHI symptoms have passed away from their ailments?
I do.
I do.
Have any of you three panelists ever seen one of these weapons?
I have seen a 1991 version of the weapon, and it looks like a satellite dish with a unit this size attached to it. Of course, over the years, miniaturization has been possible. Obviously, there's a limitation to how miniaturized it can be because of the antenna size, which is always related to the wave. But still, it is something that can be well contained in the trunk of a car or even a large backpack.
That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the deep dive. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.